And as you can see, there's some kind of little shrine here that they put up. I don't know exactly what it's for. It might be a shrine for perhaps fallen soldiers. I'm not sure exactly what, but maybe there'll be something on the artwork here to let us know. It's kind of interesting, a lot of things they're saying. I'm kind of not commenting too much because I'm around a lot of people who are probably Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Anyway, I think those are a lot of fallen people. We regret all fallen lives. We would pray that they had repentance and salvation before they died. Yep. There once again is the Hatfield Courthouse. This building is a lot bigger than I remembered it being. But again, it's been years since I've lived in Portland, so I wouldn't know. Anyways, you can see at least 3/4 of the building has a barricade all the way around it. 3/4 of the building. Now this over here is the Justice Building, and what's interesting about this is the building almost appears to have been built for the eventuality that we've seen out here. The lower section, as you can see, is looks like it's heavily fortified. They have put a lot of plywood up there and then painted it to match the side of the building, which is kind of clever of them to do it that way. Kind of interesting. There's, I don't know if you can read it, there's a sign up there. It says the administration of justice is the firmest pillar of good government. In fact, we should say that that is the justification for good government, as government exists to punish evildoing and reward good. And there you can see the entrance here off of 3rd Street. 3rd Avenue is almost completely boarded up. It doesn't look like there's anything but one door to get in and out. And here we are. It's an interesting little bit of history right here. First high-tension power line, the world's first long-distance high-tension power line, began operation between Portland and Willamette Falls by the Willamette Falls Electric Company on June 1889. It's interesting to think that we've had electricity that long. There's another sign up there on the southwest corner of the Justice Building. I'm still trying to see what it actually says. And it says justice anywhere. No, let me repeat that. It says injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Well, I'll certainly agree with that. I'll agree with that fully. But nothing justifies crime. No social cause, no social justice, no attempt at social justice purity really justifies crime. There just can be no justification for crime. And I think that's what a lot of these people are up against, is they've really put themselves in between a rock and a hard place by wanting to support a good cause, but committing crime to do it. And the problem with social justice is it's just often a feedback loop that you keep having to find things that require your intervention to bring justice, and pretty soon you end up feeding back on yourself, because as the good book says, all have fallen, all are failed. We all have faults. I mean, and we try to do the best you can, but if you seek to have a pure human race, free of fault, without salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ, then you're doomed to failure. You really are. So this is going back north through the park here in downtown Portland. Park in front of the Justice Center. Again, I'm kind of sorry I don't know the name of this park. You'll be able to see what streets we're at right here. Now, one interesting note is Southwest Main, Southeast Main, and Southeast Water, so directly on the other side of the river from here, is where Antifa has its encampment, on the other side. And God willing, we might be over there and looking at that site as well. So once again, moving back through the park here. And really, we're going to look at some of the other areas. Let me show you. This is another courthouse building. As I recall, this is Multnomah Courthouse. Shame to say I had to go in there once. Long time ago. But you can see they boarded up the lower windows completely over there. And once again, there's your pioneer settler statue with plenty of graffiti on the bottom of it. And I mentioned to say, you can see Antifa set up a kitchen over there. They've set up a kitchen for probably feeding all the people that come down here at night. So a lot of the video you've seen that makes it look like a big party, well, yeah, they're feeding people down here. Got the barbecue and everything set up over there. I'm not going to be going over that way because I don't want to be too confrontive. Now this is going across Salmon Avenue, Southwest Salmon. You can see it's hard to even read the sign there because it's been painted over. All these signs have been painted over. But we're at Southwest Salmon Street, and if I recall, the cross street here is, well, let's see in a minute. That sign looks like it's been taken down. So we're continuing down along, Southwest 4th Street. So we're at Southwest 4th Street, continuing down here. You can see this is very much boarded up. Everything here has been boarded up. And it appears that things are being boarded up almost with anywhere of a 3 or 4 block radius of the Justice Center. And this is kind of interesting. Servers, news, business, product, law, publishing. Yeah, it seems to me I might have been in that building once before. Maybe to have seen a speech by Terence McKenna quite a long time ago. Now, I've got an issue here coming up. May have to be, and as you can see right here, this particular area is at least 2 blocks is out of the area. Boarded up, pretty heavily boarded up. All the way down here. So we're looking at, maybe I'm going to go this way because I think that was a BLM guy that scoped me, and I want to kind of divert my path a little bit. There's still pretty much a sense of tension down here, although it's quiet during the day. But it's pretty apparent that Antifa has people stationed as lookouts different places, even during the day. So, but not very many people, and maybe some of them are bugging out to go home and visit their families over the Labor Day holiday. Now this AC Hotel, we see some rather clever graffiti over there on the wall. And down here on, this is 3rd Avenue, we don't see as bad boarded up stuff right around here as much. But you can see pretty much everybody down here is showing some kind of support for BLM. That's probably a survival tactic. There, we'd have to vote that some of the better graffiti in this area. Here's some rather artistic, nice work with Marks a Lot there. Yep. Might have a guy following. No, I thought I had a guy following me. Okay, we're down here at the Regal Cinemas, and this is the Pioneer Place Market. So we'll be looking at that right here at the Max Crossing, Southwest 3rd and Yamhill Street.
That's what I ended up getting.
I like it a little better.
Now this is kind of interesting over here, AT&T store. I thought I'd walk over here to show you what happened over here at the AT&T store, which is kind of interesting because we heard about that when the events were going on. So we have here at the AT&T store, by the way, there's the old Yamhill pub, same old dive it's always been for 50 years maybe, even when I lived here. So this is the AT&T. Now this you might find interesting. Right. It says there are years that ask questions and years that answer. Nora Neale Hurston. And this right here, sometimes change calls for a little trouble. Yeah, that's like saying two wrongs make a right. Yeah, I don't think history bears that out too well. It's usually negative change or violent change results in a little trouble, not peaceful change, and peaceful change is possible. Yeah, and I certainly will agree with that. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We're all connected through the Spirit of Christ. It's God, whatever you want to call it. As you can see over at the Pioneer Place, pretty much all the first floor windows are boarded up. Almost all of them. Yep. Pretty much everything over there is boarded up. And memory serves me, we might be coming down here to, oh yeah, Nordstrom's. That loud noise that got me to startle a little bit was the Max train here. It's been a long time since I've ridden on that. Of course, it's been a long time since I've been in Portland. Probably a matter of years, maybe, I don't know, at least 2 or 3, 4 years. It used to be nice to come up here for the Blues Festival on 4th of July. And this year things have just been a little bit too tense for that. And with the COVID problems, as you can see, the Zara's has pretty much their front door and a lot of glass exposed there. They haven't boarded that up, but as you walk down here, you can see pretty much everything else on the side of this Pioneer Square Mall is boarded up. Over on the other side, though, interesting, there's hardly anything boarded up. Now, are we seeing a pattern here? Cell phone dealers boarded up. Metro PCS. Starting to look like a little bit of a pattern there.
Supposed to be number one.
So here it looks like we have some of Portland's finest. Glad to see them out here. So here we are. Now we're at the Pioneer Place across the street from the Pioneer Place. Morrison Street and 4th, I believe. We're now back on 4th. Yeah, 4th Avenue. And as you can see, the graffiti on the other side there, Pioneer Place, I'm going to stay back so you can see it better. Quite a bit artistic there. Now I have to say, down here they definitely got a little more artistic. And it's not just slogans and stuff, it's actual real artwork. Just kind of cool. There you go. That sort of gets the message across. A scared, angry, frightened monkey. Actually, I'm surprised that hasn't come off. That looks racist to me. And there's the other side again. Pretty much everything on the lower floor is boarded up. That's kind of what I expected. Whoop. Looks like I just ran over a power outlet there. I didn't see. So I'm about to wrap this up and head down to Pioneer Square. It's a few more blocks north of me from where I am right now. We'll just go to the other side here and look around and enjoy a lot more of this beautiful artwork over here. That's really, you have to give it. A lot of it's creative, which is kind of what I was expecting to see. And that's media never really covers this aspect of things. They don't cover a lot of the artwork and the beautiful graffiti. Of course, I know as an audience, I'm saying that for the benefit of people around me, but my audience out there, I'm speaking with hyperbole a lot, but a lot of it is really quite well done. I'm not going to say it's appropriate. Maybe this video might not be a video for all ages. It'll probably definitely be R or above because of most of what you're seeing in the graffiti and a lot of language. As you can see, the side of this building is pretty heavily apparently putting up about that bus, apparently putting up a lot of boards really encourage people to get out and be creative and really do things. So this is really cool to see how people got out here and put all this in. Of course, I can't breathe. That's how I feel about masks. So it looks like a karma we all had to endure. There you go. Really, I have to say, I am a little more impressed. This is definitely better than your usual just scribble graffiti. Some people have been down here a lot working on this art. Maybe that's what they've been doing for the last 90 days, is really getting down here and putting some effort into all this. There you go. I can go over there and buy a Black Lives Matter shirt. I'm sure that would go over well with the folks back home. You know who you are. Anyway, so over on to Pioneer Square. Pioneer Square. This is a little nice thing, addition I hadn't really thought too much about. But as you can see, to enforce social distancing, they have put polka dot squares, or circles, all throughout Pioneer Square here. So it's added a little bit of additional color and certainly a sense of festivity to the area. And as you can see, it is more part of the unspoken artistic side of these events that have been taking place in Portland. That very few people are really covering the artistic side. Again, you folks at home know I'm speaking with hyperbole because I've got company out here. As you can see, they do have their scouts, they do have their recon people out here. They do have people out here all day long, so although most of them are at home across the river in bed in their base camp over at Southeast Main and Southeast Water. But this is Pioneer Square. It is actually in a lot better condition than I thought it would be. As you can see, there isn't too much in the way of graffiti. It looks like there's some past graffiti that's been written on the walls, but this might be a neutral zone, kind of a neutral zone, kind of a truce zone. We see that happen in conflicts a lot, where certain areas will just be mutually respected as truce zones. So we're going to be walking around this area a little bit. And as you can see, there's some areas here are boarded up. First Republic ATM, boarded up. Greenleaf, of course, your dispensaries and banks, cell phone companies, generally ones that you would expect pretty much to be boarded up are a lot of them, actually, there are grievances against a lot of these larger corporations. And that's one thing I do respect, or the airing of real grievances. The problem is when it gets violent. It just creates a tension in the air that's difficult to get through. As you can see, there's a bit of aggression being shown right there. And clear that guy with a lot of good distance because I don't want to have to get involved. He looks pretty dangerous, actually. Probably very good with a knife. So, it looks like it's fun. They've done a good job putting all this out here. There it is, TriMet. I remember often going into there to get my monthly pass, my monthly TriMet pass when I lived in Portland and commuted on the bus many years ago. There you can see Nordstrom, and just give you a good view of these high-rises around here. That's the interesting thing about riots. These days they're confined to the ground. Old days riots could burn down whole cities, but now in the age of technology and architecture and all of that, it's really, on the whole, except down at the ground levels, you don't see a whole lot of damage at all. You just see, boarded up places. But obviously the higher floors are not sustaining any damage at all. I haven't been down to Ted Wheeler's apartment building yet to see if there was damage to the side of the building from fireworks. But generally I don't see a lot of damage on the... and there's the old Pioneer Courthouse, the original courthouse in Portland. Long time ago. It's kind of a historic relic now. You can see the bottom floor windows are boarded up, as you would expect. And there's still Stars and Stripes. I'll say, does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave? Still does on top of the courthouse in Portland. And we're going to close out this segment, head down towards Burnside, probably cross over there. Here at Southwest 5th Avenue and West Burnside. Just want you to see something here. I'm going to walk past, but this is what I see a lot here, downtown Portland. These people are obviously camping out here, probably part of the riots at night. And they're just all these little encampments all over downtown wherever they can pitch a tent and not get kicked off the property. So, as you can see down this far, we don't see as many boarded up places. Obviously the riots haven't got down quite this far, although there's quite a lot of people in the streets in Portland here who look like they could very well be part of what's going on, and I think we can safely assume they have lots of scouts out. Lots of people, probably spotting anybody wearing a Trump t-shirt or any kind of conservative dress or anything like that. And they disguise themselves most likely as homeless people. And I'm pretty convinced that a lot of these homeless people here are actually Antifa. And they're hoping they won't be recognized. I mean, we just see here like, I guess these are rentals or something, these skateboards. That's kind of an interesting concept. So, okay, U.S. Bancorp Tower, interesting. I don't see any boarded up there. Sometimes you can tell who's paying the piper by who's boarded up and who is not. Something to think about, folks. Something to think about. I know we're about 4 or 5 blocks down from the Justice Center now, but still, there's other areas around here, other places are boarded, but we're kind of down here in the financial district and nothing is boarded. Maybe that'll tell you who's paying the piper. Not drawing any conclusions there, but kind of makes you wonder. Some encampments. I know it's in the shade a little and hard to see, but I'm not going to walk right through them. But this is what we see. As I mentioned others, we see a lot of these little camping enclaves out here, and I have to say I feel sure this is these aren't homeless people. These are people that are associated with Antifa, and they're camping out here to be close to the action. I have a sense that there are actual elite command and control structures in the camp on the other side of the river from here, where we'll be headed in a little while. But I'm just seeing a lot of tents and people camping out just on the side of the streets in downtown Portland. And everything I see here just indicates they are part of the Antifa. Back at you here, we're right near Southwest Harvey and Southwest 2nd, headed back towards Southwest 3rd. Hang on here a second. Southwest 3rd. I think what we found here is Antifa's dining room here. This is obviously set up street vendors all along the side of the street. Many of them are boarded up. Probably come out at night, probably bring up. I suspect there's probably quite a lot more people here. There's quite a lot here going on, and I think there's a guy across the street that may be a problem. We'll see. But this is the Antifa dining room right here, and it's probably quite festive at night. But now you can see why it's kind of a party zone down here at night. There's plenty of food to be had and drink, and you don't need to come down here and really worry about having something to eat. There's plenty of food down here. And all these vendors you can see are open. They're open along here, and it's quite colorful, as you can see. But I have to say, it almost looks like it's set up. Really, that everything I've seen so far, Portland is set up for riots. I mean, this is facilitating them. They're having all this stuff set up here so that people have a place to come. They can drift in and out of the high tension zones. I'm going to back off here in a minute and kind of switch around. But the whole thing is set up, obviously, to facilitate these riots. And don't you believe for 1 minute, Ted Wheeler, that they were attacking him. Maybe he asked them to, so he can be the victim now. And that's probably what that's really all about. In particular, it's always about politics in the end, and political machinations and maneuvering. And people like Wheeler is definitely a political manipulator. And so I wouldn't put it past him to have staged the riots at his apartment building just for the purpose of getting sympathy from the people. Anyway, there was a little bit of tension walking through that particular area. It's kind of nice they had set up this little dining area on this side of the sidewalk. I guess it's associated with Huber's Cafe down here. Best Barber Company, Best Coast. Or Left Coast. however you want it. Anyway, you can see down here there's some stores, places boarded up. Back over here. A lot of people, I think, are just identifying with Black Lives Matter in order to kind of as a defensive strategy, and they just don't want to be, they just don't want to be left alone. They figure if they go along with the whole thing, then it'll all be okay. So straight to the point, Golden Dragon, After Hours, Black Lives Matter. We're open. We're cool. Don't bother us. Yep. Okay, that guy that was coming up behind me was a postal worker, so no concern there. And that's what I'm going to say to people. You hear me talking a lot about areas where I feel tension and stuff that I'm walking through. And probably the most important, if anybody wants to come down here, especially at night, you would never want to be alone, and certainly not alone, because these guys are set up to operate in packs. And situational awareness is everything. You got to know who's around you at all times. And kind of even have eyes in the back of your head. But that's what ears are for, too, a lot of times. So I think I've seen enough of the downtown section here. And we're back pretty much where we started. So it's time to move on to other areas. I'm sure that there's any place in this downtown area that could be considered really safe at night. Sorry, this phone keeps, I don't know if it's reaching a limit on the video, but this is Front Park here. And it's kind of nice. It's a little cool here, so it's not in the sun. So we're walking down towards the Burnside Bridge, where I plan to cross over to the other side because I believe that there is, actually there's a good walkway that we can go down there. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by somebody behind me. And it's that situational awareness thing. There's somebody on a bicycle. That's how they were coming up on me so fast. It's probably a little bit less intense, less dangerous than I'm making it out to be here, but you can see a lot of people that are homeless. Certainly the Antifa's probably attracted a huge number of people that are probably homeless, so maybe they can get support and meals and stuff and donations from Antifa people. That would be interesting to know. But also just a lot of evidence among Antifa and homeless of heavy methamphetamine use. Really emaciated figures that you get a lot of times with heavy meth use. So we're going down to the Burnside Bridge here, where I hope to cross the bridge. I can see some people walking across, so there's still a way to cross, and then get down on maybe Water Avenue or in that area and head on down that side back to the Hawthorne Bridge. So we'll be wrapping up this segment right here. 600 Northwest NATO. This used to be my old apartment complex. This is where I lived when back in the I guess that would have been the early 1990s, when I was working over at a company on Macadam. So it was actually a bike ride down to where I worked at the time. These are pretty nice apartments. A lot of them are two-story lofts. They have a really good view of the riverfront. However, one particular problem with a lot of the apartments is they pick up standing waves, acoustic waves in the ground that are generated by the trains from the railroad tracks that go right by it. And sometimes that could be disturbing at night to be woken up by a kind of lightweight shaking, which is very similar to the the initial shaking you'll get at an earthquake. So that made it a little bit difficult to live here. Otherwise, it's a really delightful place to live, and perhaps there isn't as much railroad traffic now as it's just, I believe, Amtrak usage. So we'll be moving on. There's something I'm going to show you down the street here that's kind of interesting. Almost at the steel bridge, which you can see there behind the tree. And there's something kind of interesting here I wanted to show you. Is there's a container that's set up, and it really looks like it's a supply depot. And it's down here pretty much right under the on-ramp to the steel bridge. And although I'm not particularly sure what I'm looking at here, it looks like it could be just a supply zone where you can donate stuff, and it goes off to it's donated back to other people who have needs, specific needs. But it's just kind of curious to me that it's out here like a green military style container that's set up as out here, right out here. I don't know how long it's been here, but it certainly would be a good place for people that could be injured. They could come down from the Justice Center area and come down here and maybe get treatment for their injuries and not have to go to a hospital where perhaps there's a warrant for their arrest. And you can see that pretty much everything in Portland's gotten really kind of trashy looking. And a lot of people, it's really sad, all these people that are here and just here and look like they're down in really dire straits. I'm sure all of them are participating with Antifa. They're so far down at rock bottom. The socialist cause is all they have. Social justice purity. But that is a cancer that eats itself up, as we all know. So I'm going to be crossing the steel bridge right here. And I think I'll just keep the camera on briefly because this is an interesting walk. They built this so you don't really have to climb up on a bridge to get over to the other side, which is convenient. And it also appears to be a route that I bet a lot of Antifa use to go back and forth from their camp area. I'm kind of betting that. So, we're heading across this. We'll be heading across the Willamette River here. So here we are. Being out one of those boats looks like that would be pretty cool. Be out in that water right now. Although it's not too hot right now in Portland. It's passable. The temperature dropped a little bit here over the river. But this would certainly be a good spot during one of the big flotillas that come down here. Especially one of the big Trump flotillas that they have here occasionally. It's probably quite an impressive view to see all those boats out there for that. In the past, Portland has had, the Rose City Festival, Rose Festival, that's brought quite a lot of people here, and the Waterfront Blues Festival, and that's this COVID pandemic has just devastated the social life of this city in many, many ways. And that, of course, again fuels your Antifa into an emotional pitch to where they just have pent-up anger, and youth often knows not from whence its anger comes. And it's just a matter of being mad at everything, but not really knowing where to vent that anger. And that's what we see here. In particular, in Portland. That was another thing. When you're in a big city, you really have to watch out. And you can see this is really kind of a beautiful view from here. And I lived over there for a while on that side, and you can see why it was very nice. I will say that you did get a lot of noise from these docking this loading station over here on the other side of the river. A lot of this looks like it hasn't been used in a long time. So much of this area has changed and is quite different than it used to be. But that's certainly a nice view. That's very picturesque, looking over towards the Union Station. I wish I had more time to explore here, but I'll need to be back in Albany and back home by the end of the day. And man, there was a lot of traffic going on. The freeways were starting to get full of traffic around noon, and I'm hoping most people got day off at noon for Labor Day weekend, and the freeways will be lighter traffic for going home. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to make a little more time to finish up my schedule for the day, my agenda of places I want to show you. Okay, here I am at Southeast Washington on the bike path on the east side of the Willamette River. As you can see, the bike path goes all the way from the Steel Bridge. That's Morrison Bridge in the foreground, Steel Bridge in the background. It comes all the way down here, and it goes, here you go, it goes all the way down to the Hawthorne Bridge with all these nice little park areas along the side. So this is very accessible from where the main Antifa camp is, and you can see that probably this is the back way, this bike trail here. This is probably the back way they go in and out to the riot zones. I think their main route is across the Hawthorne Bridge, but this certainly allows a route through which recon and messengers and stuff can come this way. And there are these nice little parks here where people can rest afterwards. They can come over here and really chill out and decompress after raising Cain over downtown at the Justice Center. As you can see, this thing is all worked out. This is all planned. They set themselves up. Wheeler gave them the camp over where I'm going now. I mean, it's all set up for their maximum comfort and enjoyment. Go figure. You can probably hear me because I can hardly hear myself, so you probably can't hear me, but this is kind of interesting. They set up this little sculpture down here on the sidewalk that kind of looks like a camera lens, and there's two directions you can take it, like down the sidewalk and down to the side. So Portland does have some interesting aspects. It's kind of sad that there's so much turmoil in the city right now. The main Antifa encampment right here, coming into it from off the bike path. As you can see under the bridge, they have a pretty good encampment here, and I imagine at night this is probably pretty well guarded. I would probably be challenged at night. I may be challenged while I'm down here. I don't know yet. I'm not going to hang out in any one particular area too long. But here we are. This would be Southeast Main and Water, or somewhere in that particular thing. You can see it's Pratt and Larson Tile Company over there. And this camp looks pretty extensive, actually, from the ground, more so than it does from up on the bridge. So I'll be moving on. I don't want to stay in one place. Another view of the encampment right here at Southeast Main and Water. As you can see, it's divided by a street there. And there you go. There it goes. City parking, pay to park all hours. Yeah, Mayor Wheeler gave them a parking zone. I think it's pretty conclusive now. But as you can see, it is fenced in, and it looks to me like they put a double barrier fence around it, which is kind of interesting. A main fence and a privacy fence. This is definitely a compound here. And this is Mayor Wheeler has to have been part of this, and this really doesn't look too good because this is organized. This is definitely set up. These people are given a space here, so we don't know what this. And as you can see, here's a lot of more lovely graffiti. This actually shows a little more precision and time put into it, which I would kind of fully expect, given that we're right next to the main encampment. So they probably come over here at night and have quite a lot of fun decorating the walls here. As you can see on the other side here, quite a lot of busy bees out here. Spending a lot of time painting the walls and just enjoying themselves. And this really brings up the point. Now you can see their encampment there in the corner, and I don't see an entrance there. I'm not sure where the entrance is. I don't think I want to ride around it too much and attract attention, but you can see that this is I have to say, I mean, it's a party thing. They're coming out here just to have a lot of fun, cause mayhem, and I think they take it really too lightly what they're doing and have no idea the impact. To a lot of people there, I'm sure it's just a party, Down on the Willamette River, just off of Maine, Southeast Water in Maine, about a block south of that. And you can see how ideal a situation this is for our Antifa friends here. They have access to the Willamette River here, and it's summertime. So you can see why they don't need showers. And they have the river, they can come down here, take swims, enjoy themselves. You know, this looks like a vacation. It's starting to look more and more like a vacation to me for all these people here. Down here, camping out down there where you saw it, and just having a blast at night, raising cane. Come down here during the day, and they're probably about getting up by now, a lot of them. Getting ready for the evening, come down here, take a bath in the river. If you want to take a bath in the Willamette, but it looks like a lot of people are enjoying it, so it can't be that bad. So that's another little part of this story that the world really doesn't see too much about. View of the main encampment right here from the rear. You can see there would be a lot of room to expand. They could expand all the way back into these parking lots, and in a way they already have expanded, as they've got many tents and little encampments all around this area. I would not want to be out here at night unless I had a couple of stout friends with me. It looks like the party starts after dark here, pretty much. See here we're at Southeast Hawthorne and 2nd, Southeast 2nd on the other side of the river avenue. That this area where the encampment is, which is about 2 blocks down from where I'm at now, is in a warehouse district in East Portland. And as you can see, it's almost all warehouses and stores and things, but very much that kind of district. And I want to point out that this is an excellent area for staging stuff. I remember back when I lived in Portland, many raves occurred in this area. There's a lot of warehouse space. There's a lot of place in which additional people could be housed indoors. And I wouldn't be surprised if the camp you just saw is really a diversion, a red herring to just say, well, people come, that's where they're camped out. No, I think that they're spread out all over Southeast Portland here, pretty much. And this is such an excellent area here. Warehouses and you name it here. And you could hide a whole revolution in just this area alone. So that's what I'm expecting. Plus, I'm seeing people who are just pretty much obviously BLM, Antifa, constantly everywhere riding around. And now they're probably starting to come alive. You know, they're waking up a little bit here. You can see some more interesting painting. This looks like it was maybe done by the city. It's part of a project, obviously. They have scaffolding up there in that particular area. So that's another thing to think about the use of this whole space. And you can see it's just perfect space for running a revolution, really. You can't beat it. So, eastern entrance of the Hawthorne Bridge. And as you can see, Portland really likes to do it up. They do get some kind of artistic stuff. They put up this metal sculpture here, right at both lanes on the east side of the Hawthorne Bridge, which is a very famous and popular bridge here in Portland, heavily used for foot traffic and bicycle traffic. So we'll be heading up this way to maybe get a good view of the encampment from overhead. But like I said, you know, I think that could be as much diversion as anything else. People have been busy up here on the roof as well as down on the ground. But Quite a lot of graffiti there. Perhaps Portland will become known as the graffiti city someday. Although I'm sure there are other cities that could vie for that position. Anyway, you see a nice view of the skyline back there. Railroad tracks that run through southeast Portland, probably a major hub here. Quite a long freight train here. If you look over here, now you can see a little bit of the encampment right in this particular area. Right there, auto body. And I think they're going to try to challenge me here. So we're going to make this short. And viewing here. Here, one person coming up. I got one person coming by. Yes, you are. You're standing right here. You're trying to block my view, and I just am trying to do a documentary on things.
I'm trying to help you understand that this is a houseless COVID protection camp, and these are people.
And I'm not even in it. You see, she's trying to block my thing.
Yeah, I am, because
just like
you know
they're going to
what?
bring their slingshot guy out here and probably try to launch a slingshot at me like they did to the last guy that was here. Yes, you are. You're violent. You're part of this whole violent thing that's going on here. I'm sorry, lady. I don't. Very interesting moment. I get to be delayed here while the Hawthorne Bridge lifts, and it's a counterweight lift bridge. It's kind of really an interesting bridge that's going on, but going back to that campment, now you can see everything I experienced back over there, which is just where the camera is looking right now. You can sort of make out a tent or two in that direction. You can see pretty much everything you've heard by other videographer and other video reports is pretty much true about them. You can see now after they got videoed, when was that, Sunday? Now they have somebody stationed there, and they're obviously going to try to stop somebody from doing any videoing of their encampment, as of course that has a very good view of the whole area. And again, as I said, I think it's really, there's a good chance it's all a diversion. It doesn't look like there's a lot of people there. They could be asleep, but it could be set up to divert attention away from other areas like the warehouse district. So that's pretty much what my guess would be. And as you can see, it's a beautiful day out here on the Willamette River. Looks quite nice. I would like to be in that water myself and doing some things. But looks like they're closing the bridge, so we'll be able to go on our way and hopefully get back to my vehicle before the parking tag expires. So there's McCall Waterfront Park, where I have fond memories of Portland Blues festivals of the past, which didn't happen this year. But this whole area is filled in with people for the Portland Blues Festival, which is really one of the best blues festivals every year, but with the pandemic, they weren't able to have it this year. And so now, mostly all you see in the park is down from all these ducks. Down with ducks, down from ducks. Anyway, so you can see across the street, I'm just having to check and make sure somebody wasn't following me. They would have had to be on a bicycle to follow me. That's one reason I do these things on a bicycle, as it makes it possible to get in and get out, as you saw with that little encounter with the Antifa lady at their encampment there. So they put security up for themselves, obviously, since that video was made, which is very interesting. Anyway, you can see Oregon Museum of Science and Industry across the lake and all that. So, anyway, you'll see why I like to use a bicycle. Here I'm kind of coming around, and we're going to get a little picture here, a little selfie action of me and the bicycle. Got to get that obligatory selfie in there. You folks know how that goes. So, excuse me while I make that adjustment. In front of, you can see my, sorry about that. You can see my bicycle there, right there. Behind me. Man's best tool for doing quick reconnaissance in and out. I probably have ridden at least 5 or 6 miles, maybe 10 throughout the city today. I don't really keep track. I don't really keep track of things like that, but I just wanted to give you a flavor of what it really looks like behind the scenes in Portland, what you're not going to see from most videographers and most mainstream media. Just a look at, a more intimate look at the scene with a few possibilities and ideas that I'm throwing out, like about the possibility of the whole warehouse district being, a lot of it being used also to stage events. So I'm about to run out of parking time here, maybe in a half hour, and I've got another 15 minutes of riding, so I'll be headed back to my car now. This will probably be my last clip here because my battery's running low and I'm on my way back to my car. But there it is, a nice view of the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry and their submarine. They actually own a submarine which you can go aboard and tour. And there it is, you can see it just to the right of where it says OMSI. And I have to say, you know, Portland is in its own ways a very beautiful and unique city, and it's so incredibly sad to see this happening here. Although, you know, it looks like people aren't letting it get to them, and they usually don't. And they're out enjoying themselves and having a good time. So that's why, you know, so much of it just seems, it really is staged follies, and it's all for show and optics. There's nothing more than that, and it's just a continuing soap opera now every night down at the Hatfield Courthouse and Justice Center, and it really is, I think, becoming a joke.